Good afternoon, everybody. Wags alongside Joe and Scott. Welcome into another edition of Crunch Time here on Amateur Sports TV. And for those of you listening on the radio, welcome back to KYRO 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, as we're going to be talking a little bit about Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and really, after some other news that came to light today, just cancer in general, about how much it has impacted a lot of our lives. And then we'll get into our conversation with Suzanne Fontaine from the Komen, Missouri group. We had her on last year, and we had a lot of great guests come in. Trent Dardick was one of the ones that came in conjunction with the Komen Foundation as well. So we'll get into the interview with her just a little bit as well. And I say that news broke about another local broadcaster that has started his battle with cancer. Tony Patrico over on the Riz show on 105.7 The Point revealed on Thursday that he was diagnosed with kidney cancer. And it just kind of sparked our thoughts and prayers, obviously, to him and anybody experience cancer. But it also kind of made us reflect on, the experiences that we have gone through with just any cancers in general. Now, I myself have not been diagnosed with anything cancer related. I'm not sure about you guys. I don't think you've ever said anything about that, but we had family members affected by different frames of cancer as well. And just kind of want to get your guys' reactions to how that affected your guys' lives and how you now look to places like the Komen Foundation for answers and treatment.
Yeah, I'll go first real quick. I've had a couple members of my family that have been diagnosed with breast cancer, and then my grandmother had pancreatic cancer, which, if anybody knows that, there really is no treatment for that. You get pancreatic cancer, and it's pretty much a death sentence, and it's a horrible thing to go through. So it was pretty traumatic as a kid watching that happen to somebody that I love so much. But yeah, I've had 2 or 3 people in my family, like I said, diagnosed with different forms of cancer. So, cancer is just a nasty thing, and anything we can do to help fight that and try to find a cure, I'm down for.
And for me, it's one person that I really know of, and it was my grandma. She passed before I was born, and I think, the year I was born, like months earlier, she passed away of lung cancer. I mean, she smoked a lot, but you know what? She was a great person. Wish I would have gotten to know her, which it stinks that a grandparent would die before you would get to meet them, just because you never got to know them and got to know what they were like. I mean, all you only hear is stories. So that's a pretty bad taste in your mouth when you never really got to know your grandma, Yeah.
I mean, my grandparents have gone through stuff. They were also heavy smokers in their lives. So we've had to deal with some cancers, lung cancer and stuff like that. My aunt actually beat breast cancer twice. So that was something we were we hated to have to go through, but we were so proud of her for what she did and what she fought through. Unfortunately, she succumbed to other means a little bit earlier in her life than we wanted her to. And Aunt Margie, love her. That's a tough one because she was somebody that we were really, really close to and absolutely loved. And to have to see her suffer and go through that was really, really tough. But once again, there's such a great organization and great groups of people together that can help people fight this. And one of those groups is the Komen Foundation here in Missouri. So we're going to go ahead and welcome in Suzanne from the Komen, Missouri group. Suzanne, thank you once again for joining us. You were with us last year and kind of at the beginning of our journey. And now we're here another year later and everybody's back together.
This is great. Look at you now.
It's been a blast. And we have to thank you because one of the guys that you sent over to for one of our interviews, Trent Dardick, has become a decent sized part of the show. He's actually co-hosted a couple of times. He's been on a bunch. So through you, we've actually made another connection.
Yeah, good. I'm so glad to hear it. He is such a sweetheart. And his Aunt Karen is a tremendous volunteer. And his Uncle Jim is a character. And we love him. They're such great people. So I'm so happy to have introduced you.
Well, and we kind of want to catch up because it has been about a year since we've talked to you. Kind of just give us a little bit of a rundown of how everything went last year as far as the fundraising is concerned and what's happened since then. And I know we'll get into the virtual fundraiser that you guys are having today, which would be Sunday. But kind of catch us up on what's going on in the past year.
Sure. Yeah, it's been over a year, right? Because last year it was in June. So we were all geared up and we were just experiencing beautiful momentum heading into our second annual More Than Pink Walk, and then the pandemic hit. But last year was great. 2019 was the first one, and we had a fantastic turnout. And what was really interesting was, even though our crowd size was a little smaller than we've experienced in the past, the fundraising was more than double, because we've really started focusing on engaging people more in where the money is going and how it's being used, and the people that are being helped, the research that's being done. And that really made a difference. I think people realized it really is about being more than pink. We love pink. It's our favorite color, but just wearing pink and waving pink pom-poms doesn't cure breast cancer. Money does. We need money to fund research, and we need money to help take care of people who don't have the means to get the treatment they need and the screenings they need. And so people heard those messages and raised the money, and we're so grateful and excited that we're finally able to get to do it again this year, just in a really different kind of way.
So yeah, talk about the difficulties of trying to plan this year and doing it virtually with the pandemic.
Yeah, it's been a real challenge. When this all started happening in March, we kind of put our heads together and said, look, you guys, there's no way we can have a big gathering in June. It's just not going to be safe. It's not going to be possible. And that has to be our number one priority. And even though that was the right decision, and that made it an easy decision, it also was really hard, because this is our largest source of funding for our organization. And it's also just a really meaningful day for so many people to come together and support one another and celebrate all that they've been through, and to remember the people that we've lost. And so to let go of that experience was really, really hard. But you know what? Breast cancer doesn't stop because of a pandemic, and neither can we. So we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps and dried our tears and got busy figuring out, how are we going to do this in a safe way, in a virtual way, to try and engage people, even though we can't be together in person. So it took some time to sort of figure out, what does a virtual event look like? How are we going to communicate that to people? How are we going to get people rallied and inspired to raise money? But I think overall we've done a great job of that over the past several months. And we've got some really fun things planned for this Sunday.
Talk a little bit about what the virtual event is.
Sure. So first, we're going to kick it off this Sunday, October the 4th, with an online program. And that's going to be at 1 p.m. Central Time. People can watch it on Facebook Live through our Facebook page. And they also can watch through Zoom. So there's a link on our website, and I see that you have our website listed there on the screen. If you visit that site, you'll be able to click on the information for the walk, and there you'll find the Zoom link to watch the live presentation on Sunday at 1 p.m. That program will last around 40 minutes or so, and we are just going to have Abby Larico from Five on Your Side as our MC, and she's great, full of energy. And her grandmother had breast cancer, so she's also been personally affected by the disease. Her grandma's doing well, and she's very grateful for that. We are scheduled to have a really special guest to help us kick off the walk. If everything goes well with technology and travel schedules, St. Louis native John Hamm is supposed to be joining us to share a few words. So that's part of our program that is planned. We also have several different videos, messages from our sponsors, encouraging people and thanking people. A lot of messages about where the money goes and how important the fundraising is to support our mission in ending breast cancer. And then we're just going to kick it off and ask people to sign off and go for a walk where they are. So that's our hashtag, walk where you are, on Sunday. We want people to go out and still walk. And as they're taking those steps, really think about the steps we've made so far in getting closer to a cure for breast cancer, and also remembering all the steps we still have to go to reach that goal. And then we want people to take pictures of themselves, selfies and videos, and share all of that online with the hashtag walk where you are. And then we'll gather all of those photos and things and share it with our wider audience after it's all over.
And that website is komenmissouri.org/STL walk. That is where you can go and register and take part in all the activities that are going on Sunday. Last year you had different celebrities, St. Louis celebrities, kind of collaborating to raise funds as well. Is that something else that you guys are doing this year as well, or is there another form that may be taking?
Yeah, I think you might be talking about our Bigwigs campaign.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So we are planning Bigwigs this year. Typically that would be in October, but because we moved our walk to October, everything else we sort of shifted around because we are a small and mighty team. And so we wanted to make sure and be able to have enough time to focus and do each thing well. So we moved our Bigwigs campaign. That'll be in March of 2021. And we haven't even begun to recruit our people yet. So I don't have a lot to tell you about it other than we have a couple people in the pipeline that have said they may want to do it. And so check back with me maybe in like January and I'll probably have a better idea.
Yeah, we definitely will. When we get closer to January, we'll have to have you on again and we'll talk about that and find out who you got lined up.
Awesome. Hopefully we'll have some good sports people so I can keep making connections for you guys. Or maybe Trent could be one.
Yeah. And you know what? We're actually getting, some pretty good celebrities in here too that maybe we can return the favor and push them a little bit towards you guys as well.
Good. Yeah. I'd love that.
So, like you said earlier, breast cancer doesn't just confine itself to October. This is something that is year-round, lifetimes for some people. And this is not the only event you guys do there. This is the biggest one you guys do, but there are other things that go on. What other things can people be doing to help out year-round, whether it's volunteering, donations, any of that kind of stuff?
Yes, donating is great. We are always very grateful for any gift of any size. That's, like I said, money is what is going to help in breast cancer. And we're a fundraising organization with the mission to do that. We also have a trivia night. That's going to be virtual. Again, this next time it'll be near the end of January. Right off the top of my head, I can't remember the date, but I think it's the last Friday in January. And so all the information for that will be on our website as well. And people can sign up and participate virtually this year, which should be kind of fun. So you don't even have to be in St. Louis to be able to take part. And then we typically in October, we do a dining out event where we have a lot of different restaurant partners around the metro area who will donate back a certain portion of their sales on the last Thursday in October. This year, because restaurants were hit so hard by the pandemic, we felt like the right thing to do would be not to ask them and instead encourage our supporters to go out and enjoy a meal at one of our restaurants that has supported us in the past, and then maybe consider making a direct gift to Komen as well. So we hope that our restaurant partners are starting to bounce back and that we can send a little love their way since they've been so good to us over the years. So that's our plan for our dine out this year. I think we're calling it Dine and Donate instead. Yeah, and then we have our year-end giving campaign. We ask everybody to add us to their holiday giving list and make a little year-end gift to show the love there. Those are our major fundraisers that we do throughout the year. And then we have so many really generous and loving people out in the community that raise funds for us all year round, doing things like car washes and jeans days and all kinds of fun things like that. And we're extremely grateful for people who get inspired by our mission to pitch in and raise some money that way.
Last year, you talked about your experience with breast cancer. Remind our listeners of how you came into the fight.
Sure. So I am celebrating 15 years this year of survivorship. It's hard to believe so much time has gone by, but I was only 34 years old when I was diagnosed, and I had two little kids. My daughter was 4 and my son was 2 at the time. So it was terrifying to hear those words. I had no family history at all of the disease. And so it really just took me by surprise. I feel extremely fortunate that at the time I knew enough about breast cancer, thanks to people who made sure to raise awareness of the disease, that if you feel a lump, you go check it out right away. So I did not delay. And I had a doctor I could go to. I had health insurance, and my treatment went very well, and I couldn't have asked for more. And I know, that was probably the most difficult year of my life. It was painful, and I felt sick, and it was, lost my hair, the whole thing. But I know there are so many other people out there that have it so much harder than I did, because they don't have the kinds of resources that I have. They don't have the kind of support that I had. And so now that I am cancer-free, I'm very grateful for that, but I still am fighting breast cancer, because everybody deserves the same sort of experience I had if they're diagnosed. And my hope is one day maybe we find a vaccine for breast cancer, some sort of thing that will prevent it from happening in the first place. So I believe in science, and I believe it can be done, but I know that it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of money and dedication.
And, you talk about just the struggles that it takes to go through something like this. What kinds of things does Komen do for anybody that's having to experience this, whether it's the patient themselves, their family, or anything like that? What kinds of things go about with Komen?
Sure. So first of all, one of the things that we always offer as a resource to people if they call, if they need information, is we have our nationwide sort of breast cancer hotline, and we have trained individuals to talk to people. Many times people are recently diagnosed and they have lots of questions, or they don't have insurance, or they need a doctor. So it's just kind of an all-purpose referral line and answer line for whatever people may have questions about. And it's not just for people who are diagnosed, but it could also help family members or friends. We also have a podcast that our headquarters produces that's full of great information on a whole variety of topics related to living with breast cancer and living after breast cancer and all of those things. We also have a patient treatment assistance program for patients who have trouble meeting their expenses, for example, because their treatment is expensive. They may be struggling to pay the electric bill, or to find transportation, or to cover the costs of their prescriptions. Our patient assistance program is there to help people kind of who are struggling financially. And so that's another way that Komen helps people. And then also it's, just our organization in terms of emotional support, sort of being listening ears and a loving sort of family that kind of welcomes you with open arms and tries to kind of walk alongside you in your treatment journey. I think that's another really important kind of emotional comfort type of thing that our organization can offer people who are experiencing breast cancer right now.
Back to the let's talk about the virtual event again. What things do you have planned?
So besides we have the online program that I mentioned, and us asking people then after it's over to get up and get outside. Hopefully we have good weather. I haven't even had a chance to check the forecast, but presuming the weather is nice, we're asking people just to get out there and, hopefully people will have fun with it. Maybe, dress up in pink and have fun with it, just like they do when we have gotten together downtown as a big group. Personally speaking, after the event is over, I'm going to take a big deep breath and say, yes, that was perfect. And then I am going to go out on a walk with my husband. And we don't live too awfully far from Forest Park. So I think we'll walk down to the park and just have a nice afternoon together.
Well, it's supposed to be 61 and partly cloudy, so an absolutely perfect fall day in St. Louis to go out for a nice long walk. So things are looking really, really good there. And then once more, just KomenMissouri.org/STL walk. Registration is free. Online program begins at 1 p.m. via Zoom or Facebook Live. And like Suzanne said, make sure you guys get out there after the program, walk where they're at, use the hashtag walk where you are on whatever social media that you're using, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you guys are using. It's a great event. It's raising money to help research and help find a cure for breast cancer. And, it's once again, it's not just a 1 month thing. This is something that's going on all year. So make sure that this isn't just the one time that you do it. Get involved in these events, these groups, whether it's the Komen group or any of the other cancer groups that are in Missouri, because everything needs to be supported. So it's the least we can do is help fund research, because one day it may affect somebody that you love, yourself or a family member. And those are the most important things. Is when the research is done, it's because it's going to help somebody in your life, help get them through it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Suzanne, make sure as we get closer to some of those other events, you stay in contact with us so we can get all that information on our pages and everything. And we can have you on and talk about all those other events as we get closer.
Thank you. You guys have been so great to us. We really appreciate your help.
Well, we've all been affected by breast cancer in one way or another. So it's just another piece that we can do to help, combat the disease and find ways to find a cure.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a great day. And if you can, go out and walk on Sunday.
Oh, that's the plan. I just had surgery, so walking is part of the curriculum. So a good way to get the exercise I need and to support a good cause.
Perfect.
All righty. Well, that was Suzanne Fontaine from the Komen Group of Missouri. Once again, go to KomenMissouri.org/STL walk for the registration and just be able to find ways to help support them. And kind of getting back to what we were talking about before, we've all been affected by this. We've all had family members that have had to deal with breast cancer. And it's just one of those things that you got to find a way to beat this disease. And the Komen Group does such a great job of helping support people and help pushing programs through. It's just been a great joy to work with them for the last year.
It really has. And like we said, we have to make sure we get all that information out. We were involved with the Dine Out thing last year. We went to the Buffalo Wild Wings in Chesterfield last year, I believe is where we were, weren't we?
Oh, yeah, we certainly were. I got off of work, headed over there. You guys were there. I think it was a Thursday night football game, too.
Yeah,
and the Blues were playing the Kings. I remember that game so well because
they blew them out, didn't they?
And that was when Vladdy actually got hurt the first time.
Yeah.
I hate to bring that up to you, but I have a good memory, Wags. I mean, what you got to know about me, I have a photographic memory where I can remember what went on in sports like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like a big moment, I will remember it. It's weird.
Weird that Joe had a huge smile on his face when he said that was the first time Vladdy got hurt. It was like he was almost happy about it.
No, like I'm just happy I can remember it. There's so many things I've forgotten over the years, and now that I can remember something that I guess I remember that just because Vladdy is, the heartbeat besides Schwartz of the St. Louis Blues. And yeah, I mean, it was tough. It was tough. Hopefully when we do it again, a big blue doesn't go down.
Well, hopefully if we do it again, the Blues are actually playing.
Right.
That's a very interesting thing to remember. I mean, it was definitely a big moment in the Blues season, but it also kind of put this team and brought them back together and really pushed them back to the top of the NHL, which is pretty interesting in and of itself. So once again, make sure you go to KomenMissouri.org/STL walk. It's not too late to register. Yes, the event is today, but still register and still be a part of it and still go out there and walk and snap your pictures and hashtag walk where you are. Link that to the Komen, the Susan G. Komen Missouri chapter or just the main feed as well. Just get your pictures out there showing your support because it's a great cause. I'll be honest, I'll be out there doing it. I'm gonna have to go buy a pink shirt, I think, before then, at least to make sure it looks like I'm repping it.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I actually bought one today because I was in the store and I saw one. I'm like, I need to do that so that I have it to walk on Sunday. So I will be out doing the same thing.
Awesome. And you can catch our pictures on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and really post your pictures there and link them to the Susan G. Komen Foundation as well, so that they know that you're walking. And just make sure that you guys are showing your support, because it is a great thing and it does affect everybody in one way, shape, or form. And like Suzanne said, and this is not just for breast cancer or anything like that. And don't forget, breast cancer doesn't just affect women too. This is something that also affects men. It's not as widely talked about, but breast cancer does affect men as well. So if you feel a lump, if you feel something that is not right, if you feel off in any way, shape, or form, go get checked out. And I know that as men, we sit there and go, oh, we're above it. And I am totally 100% guilty of this, because it took me a long time to actually go and get figured out about the Crohn's and really push myself along that path. If you feel in any way, shape, or form not yourself, go to doctor, because it will save your life probably. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely make sure you go get checked out if you're feeling anything, like you said, because it can definitely save your life. The amount of time you wait, if you wait around, and that little amount of time can make a huge difference.
Yep. And your body will tell you if things are not right. If you guys listened to the Patrico or the Riz show and heard about Tony Patrico's experience, basically a cyst ruptured and sent him to the hospital. And that's the point where they diagnosed his kidney cancer. And if that wouldn't have happened, he probably would never have known. And that's the scary thing, is at some point your body will tell you something's wrong. Listen to it. Please listen to it.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
So once again, we want to thank Suzanne Fontaine from the Susan G. Komen Missouri chapter for joining us and letting us know about the event that's going on. KomenMissouri.org/STL Walk. Go over there and register. 1 p.m. is the Zoom and Facebook Live event. And like you said, if everything goes right, John Hamm will be a part of it as well. So if you're a big John Hamm fan, whether it's from movies or the fact that he reps St. Louis sports wherever he goes, make sure you're a part of that as well. And then go out and once again, walk on Sunday, hashtag walk where you are, and just get out there and support. So we want to thank Suzanne for that. And make sure you guys come back here on Crunch Time on KYRO 1280 AM, 105.3 FM for more Crunch Time.